Greetings and salutations to you. How are you doing today? It's Oscar Diggs here, and we are back on the Fabricor server. And as you can see, we've got the stables behind me that we finished up. Looks a little different, perhaps, if you recall, from what we had before. And I wanted to get some thoughts, and so we are going to take a little bit of a look at this. So when we finished up last time, it was all spruce wood, basically what we have here on the inside. And as I looked at it from a distance, it just looked real bland. It just didn't, nothing really popped. And I felt like we needed some more dark stuff. Like if I look, I kind of mentioned I like my sheep building, my sheep shearing building here, sheep farm, because it's got, it's got a nice set of colors. You got a mixture of dark and light. With the orange roof. I like the orange roof here. We did that here, but it just wasn't doing what I was hoping it would do. It seemed just real bland. And so I've got a couple of options here. This is all not how it's going to be long term. So I grabbed some dark oak, and I did stripped dark oak here. And I also threw down some dark oak fences. And in the back here, I did the stairs as the dark oak as well. So that's one option that we have. I was really surprised. I guess I really hadn't thought that much about it, but how different dark oak stripped is compared to the dark oak planks. I mean, there's not a ton of difference between the spruce and the dark oak. So yeah, it's kind of interesting, but I don't know if this really was doing it for me either, but it's better. I like at least, there's a little bit of a difference there. I think no matter what, I think I'm keeping this as spruce. But the other option that I've got over here is I switch it over to logs, and I don't know. Another option, and we keep this as spruce. Everything, it's kind of like dark oak or spruce. I'm not sure which, but then that's kind of what we have for an option here. Then the other thing I kind of was wondering is this is so flat, and I could have extended this out a bit and shifted everything over a block, but then that also makes your roof seem quite a bit taller. Possibly, we could certainly do that. And that might be worth a try. But the other thing I wondered is if maybe we just extended it out a little bit here. Kind of made a little portico, or I'm not sure what you would call this. So I don't know. It's just some different options. I would love it if you would leave me some thoughts in the comments what you think is the best option here. And I don't know. I might, before our next episode, also just take this concept and add the cobble kind of outline to this. I think that might be another possibility here too. So we got some options, and I think little details like the lights and the barrels and getting some hay bales out here would also be good. Also, I did name my horses, so I've got a couple more horses now that we can look at. This is Flash. Alright, there he is. It's Flash, and he's fast. He can move. So this is the guy that I put the diamond armor on him, because this is the guy you would take if you want to go and do some exploring into places you haven't been at before, or you maybe, especially if you know where you're going and you just want to get there in a hurry, and you didn't have your wings for some reason, or you're out of rockets. Well, then you can just take him. I don't know how much we'll use him anymore, but it's nice to have some horses in the stables, right? And then over here we have another friend of mine. This guy is Sky, and I named him Sky because this guy can jump. I'm just going to barely jump here a little bit. This guy is a 4-block jumper. I just get up there. If I don't get underneath the thing, I'm too far underneath. There, look at that. This guy can go like riding around on the roof. Huh? How about that? So, this is Sky, and yeah, so it's kind of nice to have a horse that can really jump. This is nice for exploring those areas where you're going over mountains and stuff, and I have to be careful not to jump all the way as high as you can because I will take damage. And then we have our horse that we had before. So we got Flash, we got Sky, and we have Steve. And yeah, we have Steve. So Steve is, I mean, he's not a bad horse. He moves all right. He doesn't jump particularly well. He's not. I thought when I was riding him around before that he was not a fast horse. He's not a slow horse, actually. But he can't. He has to jump maximum to get just into his stable here. But yeah, so we called him Steve, and there's no harm in that because Steve is kind of your good old run-of-the-mill, average Steve. So Flash and Sky and Steve are here, and today my plan is that we are going to work on the barn like we talked about last time. I've got some redstone work that we did. In fact, we've got some work done already, so let's go over and take a look at what we've got. You can see we've got the barn here, but I've got some recording of the redstone work that you'll see here. So let's go cut into that and see how we did what we did and why we did it. All right, so what we have going on here is I'm going to have this is going to be the spot where the cows are released from the farm, from the barn into a courtyard area, basically. And so just on the other side of this, and we're going to have to dig down a ways there anyway, we are going to put, I have nothing on me right now. Let's see here. That's where the dispensers are going to go, which will eventually have some water on them, or in them. And so we've got one here. No. Good help is hard to find. All right. Well, we're down here. And so what I'm going to do here is build the functionality into this thing, and then once we have it working, I know I don't have to make any changes to the redstone, I will then turn around and actually build the barn itself. So all I want to do is get this part working. So, all right, so we've got those. I know that we're going to have, I know that I can't jump on fences. Why I keep trying, I'm not exactly sure. 2 of those, and back behind it 2 of those, and then we are going to all right, so this is going to be where the cows are, and actually what I want to do is get this built up. So we're going to come across here. So the cows are going to be in this area right here. I might replace these with stairs later. We'll see. But I want to bring 2 things. One is this is going to come across here. All right, let's get some cows in here. I've got a lead. Let's see if we can actually get them to drop into this section. Can you just drop right in? Okay, good. Now you are not going to stay there though, are you? So we're going to raise this up just a little bit for now. All right, there. Hey, you're coming over too. Perfect. But I want the adults to stay up top. And one of the things though is we're going to be not having the babies get flushed out right away because there we are. We need to build up a few more adults in this section. So I'd like to get this bred up to have like, maybe even 12 or so in here, maybe more, so that we're at least getting 6 babies at a time. So because of that, we are going to just block this up so that the babies hopefully stay. That's a really good question. Are they going to stay stuck on top? There's the tinkle tinkle. And that. And now what we're going to do is we're going to break this, and this, and this, and these. Alright. So we're going to have the babies be born. Will that keep you there? No, it didn't. I was afraid of that. I tried this with iron bars, which come out farther, but then it's a lot easier for the babies to get stuck in there, and they won't walk over here. Not even get stuck, but they just stay up on top, and then you're not flushing them through. So, all right, well, I'll have to rethink that. I can do that later. We are going to look at the redstone here a little bit. So this is the edge of where we're coming up to, and we're going to have a couple of sets of stairs. All right, so we'll enter. So the entrance is going to be on this side, is what I think we'll do. And we'll put that. And we're going to have a button that we press to flush them, and that button is going to be here. And you know, I tested it with a wooden button, so if it doesn't end up working with a stone button, because the tick length is different between the two, so if it ends up not working, we can just switch it out to a different type of button. So we're going to take that signal and we are going to drop it down. Let's put our wiring on some wool so we can try to see what's going on here. Because all the people that know how to do redstone do wool, right? Or something, some kind of different color. Now, actually, full disclosure time here. I am going to admit that I am not an expert on redstone. I'm not an expert on redstone. In fact, I've done a lot of redstone, but it's mostly looking at what somebody else does and saying, oh, I could do that here, and not a lot of figuring stuff out. So this was a little bit more figuring stuff out. Now, as I put this in place, I'm going to talk all of us through what I'm doing, and it's not because I know what I'm doing, but because what I've learned over the years is that if you teach something, you'll learn it a whole lot better. And so I'm learning. So let's go back down here and see if we can get this to work. Now, just because of space and room and things, the way that I had this set up before is that we are going to need a torch to turn that on, but or to flicker basically, so that that block is powered, and that powered block will then in turn power those dispensers, which turns the water on and turns the water off. So we're going to have to push this button, which is going to, not there, which is going to send that redstone pulse down. And we want the first, when we hit the button, we want it to trigger, and then we're going to kind of go through a bit of a timer and then trigger one more time so it pulls the buckets back in there. And yes, I know I don't have buckets in, but I've learned when working with water, leave the buckets to the end, because if you mess something up, you can have water everywhere, and then you're redoing it all because water washes away redstone. So we're actually going to power, I believe, we're going to power this block next to it here. And let's just make this a wood block as well. So we're going to power from this side. And then, yes, so that, you hear how both of those triggered. And then we are going to run that signal down. So we can have those there. Yeah, so I brought this down a little lower than I needed to be. So I'm going to build this back up so we kind of have a flat place to work on, and I'll be right back. Okay, we're back, and so this is opened up a little bit more. We'll have to open up, maybe go on a little bit more this way as we prepare some things. But let's just get started here. So I'm not going to need 45 repeaters for this. Don't worry. This is not going to be that complicated. But I've got repeaters here. So when we power these blocks, these will go off, which will turn these on, which will trigger the dispenser to let the water out, and then when we come back through and power it again, it'll flash and it'll pull it back in. So every time that dispenser sees a pulse, it either puts out the bucket or brings the bucket back in. All right, so the first thing we need to do is bring that redstone signal down. All right, so we can have that come through, and we're going to boost that signal because we got to bring that around. I'm actually going to, because of how I'm going to set up that clock, I'm going to bring that signal around this way. Over. There we go. All right, so we're going to bring it this over here. I can't run it right along here because if I do, then it's going to be, yeah, that happens. So all of a sudden that creates that loop, turns this on, and that is powering this line, which powers this block, which turns it on, but that turns it right back off again because it turns off. So yeah, it's time to sleep. I'm going to totally get blown up by a creeper in here. I know it. All right, so that's the first thing, and that's the easy part, right? Because so we can sit here, we can hit the button, and you can hear that click. That means that we got that part good to go. Now, we're going to need a little bit more room over here because we're going to put in basically that time delay and then what's considered a monostable circuit. Basically something that creates a redstone pulse to send that extra power through. All right, so now the question is, how do we create that extra kind of timing loop, and how do we create that pulse? Well, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take this signal, and I think I've got enough room. I'm going to bring it over just one spot here. So we're going to take that signal out of that repeater, and we are going to, basically what this is going to be, it's going to create a way to decay that signal. So we're going to put one comparator here and one comparator here, and then what we're going to have is, let me grab my wool. So we're going to have that block, and then we will have, we can put another redstone dust right here. And we're going to be inverting that signal. So what we need then is to have that so that we can power. And so let me just push the button and you can see what this does. If I can get down there quick enough. You know what we'll do for this is that we will just move the button to this side. All right, so I'm here. Watch this signal slowly decay. So what's happening is that this gets powered, and it powers this redstone, which powers the comparator, and it puts power into this block, which will put power into this redstone, which powers this comparator. Well, then what happens is, every time this goes down a level, because it's going to be, when this gets unpowered, the power is going to be kind of turning in a circle, and that circle is going to be slowly decaying. So this power is a little bit less strong of a signal, and then that decays. That means that this is going to go down, which means that this will go down, and it just takes some time. So you can actually make this longer by doing more comparators. If I wanted the water to sit there longer, I could actually have two comparators going this way, two comparators coming back, as long as it's making that loop. You can also do this with a redstone dust right here, but I need a block that's being powered and this redstone torch, because I'm going to take this, I'm going to take this and see if I can, I'm going to put a block here. This is going to be on and facing this way. And we need to have, oh, I didn't bring an observer. I had him right in my hand, and I think I put him down. Okay, so now I got the observer. We are going to place that observer with its eyes looking at the right there. So that way, when it moves, it'll detect that change, and it'll send a redstone signal. And we will use a repeater to pull that redstone signal out. And something special on this that I'll show you in a second, but we will pull that out and drop that redstone here, and literally that can just tie right into that line. Alright, so you got that thing is going to be decaying, and as soon as that redstone signal comes through here, it's going to turn that off, and it's going to stay off until this decays far enough to turn it back on again. Alright, let's just watch that happen once. So it pulls it back, and that's going to decay, and once that turns back on, it's going to power. Now, did you see that flash? When that happens, all right, that's what will ultimately power these over here. But did you notice that there was no click when that came through? Let's listen for that one more time. We hit it first time. We can hear the dispenser click, but it doesn't click when it comes back through here. We need to put this on the second setting. Okay, so this is the number of ticks delays. So this is a 1 tick delay, a 2 tick delay right here. So now we should hear 2 clicks when it turns back on. There we go. That was another click. So that is basically our redstone. So we have the line that comes down, powers those off, which powers these on, which clicks that, and then when we have that delay here happening simultaneously, it drops down here and runs that back in there. I'm not going to pretend like I'm going to try to be the most efficient with space on redstone, because honestly, I'm still learning. So if I try to make things too tight, it's going to not work because it's too tight and I'm running into problems. So I'm going to learn as I go, and hopefully that helps you learn as well. So let's get this covered up and put some water buckets in there, and we'll see what happens. Alright, so here we are, and I've got some pails with water in the dispensers, and it's the moment of truth. So just to show, I've got water in each one. So new babies will come down over here, and they will jump down, and we could push these back. Actually, I actually put those back one level. We'll see. But for now, for demonstration purposes, this will work. So we will press the button, and water comes out, and water stops. And then we can do it again. So yes, my redstone genius has worked. Well, there you go. We've got that little redstone project taken care of, and we are getting up against the end of the episode, but I still want to get this barn built, and so we are going to time-lapse that. And if you have enjoyed this episode, leave a like on it, subscribe so you can see what we do on here next time. We are still moving closer to getting an Oz series started, though it'll probably be mid to late October when we do that, so several weeks yet. And don't forget, comments about the stables. I want your ideas on which decoration type you like best. So, but let's get into this time lapse and build this barn. and there it is. That took a little while, especially I ended up kind of actually redoing some of the flushing system. The redstone's all the same, but I ended up changing some things. We'll look at those details next time. But yeah, there we go. We are done with the exterior of our barn, and we'll take a closer look at it and work on the interior next time, as well as do a little bit of decorating in the mountain base as well. So that's all we have for today. I hope that you had a great time here, and look for another episode in a week. We'll see you later. Bye.